Welcome to The Shoreline, brought to you by Shores and Islands, Ohio, where finding your Lake Erie love is a sure thing. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jill Bauer. I'm the PR manager here at Shores and Islands, Ohio. Joining me, as always, is my co-host Dayton Barnett, who manages our social media. Dayton and I are here every week to give you the inside scoop on what's happening here in our island and coastal communities and the events and attractions that we think you'll want to know more about. Hey, Dayton, what's going on?
What's up? It's a new day, and I'm just here vibing today. It's I don't know. We've been on and off on the weather side, so I've just been kind of soaking up the sun days and chilling for the rainy days.
Speaking of sun, you had some amazing footage. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I think was it a sunset at the Vermilion Main Street Beach?
Sunset, yes, and honestly that was probably one of the most beautiful sunsets I've seen. Usually I see them from, it's the pier in Sandusky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was over there getting footage for Sunset Sunday for National Travel and Tourism Week, which is actually something I want to turn into a weekly thing, which I'll be posting probably on our Instagram story, an actual video to get people to send in pictures and video clips of sunsets of wherever they are, get some motion on it after a couple of weeks to hopefully get people sending in stuff fast enough that I can get a quick turnaround the same day to be just put together a video for sunsets that are just happening everywhere in the region. I think that'd be a really cool idea if it catches some motion.
I love that. So you guys heard that. If you love getting photos and videos of the sunset near you, make sure you're following Dayton, and maybe you can contribute to our little Sunset Sunday project. So that's really cool. Anything else cool coming up on social we should watch out for?
I mean, as it is, it's summer, so there's events happening pretty much everywhere, always, and every weekend. So just keep an eye out. Just keep an eye out for the weekends. There's always something happening right now.
Of course. It is the summer season. Even though the calendar doesn't quite say it's summer yet, it feels like summer here on the North Coast. So if you're not already, make sure you follow along with Dayton online. Be sure to engage with his posts. Leave your comments, leave your questions. Even if you have suggestions on places to go, of course, follow along if you want to contribute to the Sunset Sunday project. And you can find all of those links where Dayton is active on social media on our website, shoresandislands.com. Today we have the pleasure of talking to a local entrepreneur and a Shores and Islands, Ohio visionary, and we get to learn and share with our listeners all about a very unique lodging and recreation experience located right on Lake Erie here in Sandusky, Ohio. Joining us on the podcast is Joe Lisa, owner of SolSTAY Lodging. Joe Lisa is a highly motivated individual with a passion for happiness and creativity. I love that. I love that intro. Joe started his entrepreneurial journey at the age of 12 with a simple lawn mowing business. At 18, he launched a house painting business while in college. I have to tell you, Joe, my son is in college and he's painting houses right now. And he was able to scale it to over $1 million in revenue by the time he graduated. After college, Joe fell in love with real estate and began flipping houses, creating short and long-term rentals. Making life a playground at age 24, Joe built Fireside Lodging from the ground up into multiple glamping destinations throughout the West and the Midwest, converting failing motels and raw land into successful, thriving businesses. In November 2022, Joe and his team purchased an old marina in Sandusky and revamped it into a floating tiny house glamping resort, which is called SolSTAY. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So welcome to the Shoreline, Joe.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. What is SolSTAY Lodging concept, and what inspired you to create it?
So SolSTAY as a whole is basically just a unique way to experience nature and make lodging an experience as a whole. So there's the ability to not just stay somewhere, but you kind of get the ability to play somewhere too.
That's perfect, right? I mean, you got to combine all of the things to make your getaway, fabulous. You promote it as glamping. What exactly does glamping mean to you?
I think glamping it has various definitions, but the main thing that it gets at is really just being a glamorous camping setup. So it's having the ability to get outdoors, get in nature, feel the sun, feel, the waves around you, feel the trees around you, all of that, all of those elements, but not have to pitch your tent. All of that stuff's already there for you. The tiny house, the yurt, the dome, the shipping container, whatever it might be. all of that's already set up for you. You just show up, you've got your belongings, and you're there to experience it.
And a comfy mattress, right?
Heck yeah.
You have, at SolSTAY, you have both houseboats and cottages. Can you tell us how many you have of each?
So we have, right now we're at 15 houseboats. We're going to be at 17 by the end of the season here. We have 2 more that are underway. And we have 3 cottages on land. So there's kind of different stays for different walks of life. And we can kind of accommodate for small groups. We can accommodate for couples retreats. And we can kind of accommodate for medium to large size groups now.
I was actually just there as well, like a couple of weeks ago, checking it out for pictures and stuff for National Travel Tours a Week, and just to get some content too for you guys that'll be posted. We're kind of just spacing it out, but I've seen them. They look awesome. It's so interesting and like in both of them, but we know you guys have the new Lux houseboats. So I've seen you guys have kind of like 2, the new ones and I won't say the old ones because you guys haven't been.
They're only about a year old, right?
But you guys have a new set of ones and they both look amazing. How do they differ from the original ones?
So the Lux houseboats are about double the size of the original houseboats we did for year 1. These ones also have full power. They have air conditioning. They all have a TV above the bed and a little kitchenette space. There's a little bit more bells and whistles to it. If maybe glamping you didn't think was your thing, there's a little bit more glamour to this as glamping.
Very cool. And you have some other exciting new features this season, including your new floating sauna and your co-working lounge. Can you tell us a little bit about those features?
Yeah, so the floating sauna was kind of like a pipe dream idea that came to life. We have a rooftop hot tub, and we were like, what could make this like just even better of a property? And we're like, a sauna is like the in thing. Saunas and like ice bath challenges and all that stuff.
Cold plunge.
So we were like, well, how can we create that? We don't have a huge property. And so we wanted to take advantage of the beauty of the water in front of us. And we're like, let's make the sauna float. And that's what we did. We built a floating sauna and it turned out really, really cool. And then we had a lot of feedback last year from guests about being able to work and play and travel and be able to do it all. And one of the things we wanted to really create and lean into was the ability to create like a co-working space, a place where people could go. They can relax, but then they can also send a couple emails out if they need to. They can take a quick Skype call or Zoom or whatever it might be and not feel like they're, in jail because they have to go and work a little bit while they're on vacation. It's, hey, you can go get it done real quick, but then hop right back to it and enjoy the water.
Awesome.
You guys got the water, you got the sauna, you got the hot tub, you guys have fire pits too around the location. What kind of activities can guests enjoy at your location, in regards to water recreation? I know there's one that you guys used to have that would probably be my favorite. I don't think it's there anymore this year, but I'll let you tap in on there.
Yeah, so we've got all sorts of stuff. We've got kayak rentals, paddleboard rentals. We're even adding here in the next couple of weeks a picnic and paddle boat setup where you can actually book a paddle boat and it'll have like a pre-made picnic so you can kind of go out as a couple or as a group of friends in a paddle boat and kind of have like your own floating island out there for your lunch or for your dinner. That's something we're creating and we're leaning into this year as just having more and more ways for people to get on the water and have a good time.
Absolutely. I feel like it's a must. You're right there by the water. It's definitely a must in the location, the area. Do you also have to be do you have to be an overnight guest to enjoy at least the water recreation and stuff? I know like some of the stuff that are kind of to you guys, there's definitely probably some limits.
We don't require you to be a guest to be able to enjoy our recreation. We also have a few third-party partners that we work with. There's a floating tiki barge that you can go out and have like kind of like a little bit of a party on the water that'll be guided. There's also a charter fishing group that we have that launches out of the marina. And we also partner with some jet ski rentals out of the way as well. So there's different places that you can get on the water and have a good time. You don't have to stay with us, but you have the ability to stay with us and play with us.
I think that making those options available to everyone will get more people out to see the houseboats and then they'll want to stay.
Heck yeah. Yep. I think that it's been pretty cool. I mean, we even have like the boat launch there that a lot of people that are putting their boats in for the season or maybe that have a boat or just putting it in for the holiday. And a lot of people just from word of mouth will end up staying with us just because they saw the boats when they were putting their boat in, or friends of theirs were putting their boat in, and they're like taking a picture of it or a video and sharing it to their own social media.
So that brings up a question for me too. Since you said there's a boat launch right there, do you have dockage? Like if somebody has their own boat, can they bring it along?
Yeah, so that's one of our favorite things, actually, when people bring their boat along, because it's super cool to see people just basically walk from their boat right down the dock and hop onto their houseboat, and then vice versa. They can hop out of their houseboat, walk down and hop on their boat and head out to the island. It's super cool to be able to have that as an option. We have 6 docks that we allow as like transient dockage. We even have floating jet ski docks too that are available for people if they want to be able to have their jet ski out of the water, not sit in the water over the weekend.
That's so cool. Now, do you guys host any special events at your location?
So we do have a couple different events throughout the summer. And then this year we're going to be doing a couple different fall events. In the summer, we do have coming up here soon a Christmas in July party. And then from there, we also are going to have a few things in the fall, like bourbon on the boardwalk. We're going to do like some local bourbon tasting. And then we're going to partner with Firelands Adventure Tours doing like a winery tour. So you can stay at our location, and then Firelands Adventure Tours can come pick you up and take you on a winery tour. We're still kind of hashing out the details there, but we're going to start promoting that here super soon. Olivia is working on that really hard with the team there to make it all kind of come to life.
Dayton and I just recently went on a wine tour with Firelands Adventure Tours, so highly recommend. I think your guests are going to really enjoy that. That's awesome. A great option to add. I wanted to ask also real quick, I didn't put it in my original line of questioning, but can you please explain to the listener who maybe don't know your location, where exactly is SolSTAY Lodging located?
So we're located on just the back edge of the Sandusky Bay, about a half a mile or so from Cedar Point, right off the Cedar Point Road on River Avenue. And it's tucked away in like this little bay area. So the water's not too crazy. It's super calm and tranquil back there. And that's why it's a really cool location to be able to launch kayaks and just be able to do like light water sports, because the waves aren't, hard and wild like the main lake.
To make it easy on anybody that might be around the area, if you're going to Dairy Queen for ice cream, as I was, because I stumbled upon it on accident, just turn right as soon as you see Dairy Queen. If you're going to like Cedar Point, and it's right down that road, it's just kind of tucked away. Because I hadn't been there until I went just a couple of weeks ago, and I never knew exactly where it was. And I think I was going to like see some friends at the campus housing over in Cedar Point, and I was like, oh, it's right there. Like it's right across the street from the parking lot. So yeah, it is tucked away a little bit.
But yet not hard to find either.
Yeah, it's not hard to find. It's really a small space. You just got to turn. I have one question that's also not on the lines I was thinking about. Have you guys like stayed in one of the houseboats yet? Like, have you actually experienced it yourself?
Yeah. So we've a few of us have stayed on the houseboats, and as we put a new one in each time, as each one is built out, we make sure that each experience feels nice and calm when you're out there. So we check them all out before we launch them live.
Of course. And I've walked inside of them, and it seems like you don't really feel any too much of a floating situation. Like I know there's probably some mixing, everybody's got different sensitivities, but when I was in them, I didn't honestly feel too much floating around. I guess it could depend on weather maybe, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially the Lux houseboats, that was one of the things we really leaned into hard this year, is how to make them as sturdy and stable as possible. So even if the waves and whatnot are moving from the wind, there's really not a ton of movement to the boats themselves. They pretty much they sit there and are pretty solid.
All right. We should also mention that SolSTAY was the recipient of our 2024 Destination Enhancement Award for creating this amazing new tourism product for the region and for continuing to expand. So congratulations to Joe and his team, and special thanks to Joe Lisa of SolSTAY for joining us today. Again, if you missed that website, you want to make your reservations to stay on a houseboat or one of their cottages, it is SolSTAY, it's SolSTAY, lodging.com. com. Of course, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss a minute of the action here in Shores and Islands, Ohio. You can also find more information, including past episodes of this podcast, online at shoresandislands.com. And be sure, again, to follow Dayton because he's going to have some footage coming from SolSTAY, and you guys will be able to see exactly what it looks like. Did you say it was in some of the National Travel and Tourism Week footage?
Yeah, I dropped in some clips, but we're going to have I'm going to have a full video for them, showing off a lot of the features as well as some other creators too. So it'll be out there. We had creators staying there for the marketplace. Yeah. So, they're going to be doing some content too. So you're going to see it from all angles.
Great. And of course, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss a minute of the action here in Shores and Islands, Ohio. You can also find more information, including past episodes of the podcast, online at shoresandislands.com. And Dayton and I will see you all next time on The Shoreline.